It might be surprising to hear that between 2006 and 2015, almost 30,000 people needed support from the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board for hearing loss caused by noise exposure in the workplace. That's 30,000 people who suffer from things like tinnitus and temporary and permanent hearing loss as a result of being exposed to noise. Thankfully, we have the option of using hearing aids to help with hearing loss, but an even better option is preventing noise-induced hearing loss from happening in the first place. The first thing to realize about noise-induced hearing loss is that it happens gradually, and it isn't painful, so we're not likely to notice any damage to our hearing until later in life. So, in order to prevent it, we need to be as vigilant about avoiding noise as we are about avoiding tripping hazards and other health and safety risks. That's why the Ministry of Labour requires employers to put measures in place to protect their workers' hearing. Here's some info that can help us to prevent noise-induced hearing loss by recognizing, assessing, and controlling noise in the workplace. Recognizing the hazards of noise in the workplace is the first step, and there are things that both workers and employers can do to help identify noise hazards in the workplace. For example, take a look at the equipment, materials, and tools in your workplace to see how they're all contributing to the noise levels. Do you experience different noise levels in different areas? Do your ears ring after you've spent time in a particular room or after you've performed a specific task? Take some time to review any available information, like reports submitted about loud noise, materials from equipment manufacturers about sound levels, or any reports on the results of workplace testing that may have already been conducted. You can also ask your workplace health and safety representative or joint health and safety committee for their help in identifying noise hazards. Once you've recognized the different sources and levels of noise in your workplace, time should be spent measuring how loud those sources are. Remember, the Ministry of Labour's rule that workers' average noise exposure for an 8-hour workday shouldn't exceed 85 decibels. 85 decibels is roughly the same level of noise you'd find in a busy restaurant. If you need to shout to be heard by someone standing 1 arm's length away, the noise level is probably higher than 85 decibels. If you suspect that the noise level in your workplace is higher than 85 decibels, it must be assessed to determine the risk. Sound level meters can be used to measure the sound levels, and you can also hire a professional to carry out a formal noise exposure assessment. Once noise levels have been recognized, it's time for employers to put some controls in place to comply with the Occupational Health and Safety Act to protect everyone's hearing. The first priority is minimizing noise in the workplace by doing things like purchasing or leasing equipment that's designed to emit lower sound levels. Changing behaviors to encourage things like bending materials instead of hammering them, or driving with the window closed to block out the wind. Tightening nuts and bolts on equipment to minimize any vibrating surfaces, or creating a policy that limits the volume of music players, radios, or headsets. As a last resort, hearing protection can be used to protect workers. The reason that it's a last resort is because hearing protection is actually the least effective way to protect someone from noise exposure. It's easy to use hearing protection incorrectly, and it only protects workers who use it, but not others who pass by or are not aware of the hazard. For those reasons and more, hearing protection should only be used as a temporary measure or in situations where an employer can't control the noise levels. If you need more information on how to avoid noise, please visit the websites of any of these partner organizations.